In this play, we're probably seeing something a little bit new from Collingwood. I think this is more of a set play that we'll see from time to time in games. Welcome back to the I Love Pies Footy YouTube channel, and today we're going to dive into the game that was between Collingwood and Brisbane on Easter Thursday. Have a look at some clips from the game that I took some interest in, and share my thoughts with you in regards to them. In this first play, I just want to point to the fact that we're now finally seeing the Collingwood 2023 again, finding that hard pass in the middle, moving the ball quickly, and burning the opposition going from one end to the other in a quick flash. My only criticism for Tom Mitchell in this point was I can see obviously he just wants to get the ball in, but maybe he can lower his eyes at the last second, delay that kick, and find Jordan De Goey, who's a great look going inside 50, or he could even just have the shot himself. He has that much space ahead of him. He has, I guess the world is his oyster in this case, whereas Tom Mitchell kicking going inside 50 probably isn't what you want as a Collingwood team. Here again, just showing you Collingwood's brand from last year still exists, and we're bringing it back slowly, and we ticked a lot of boxes regarding this last season. Oppositions will always continue to press up to the player on the ball and try to force that player to make an error. However, if your hands are quick and accurate enough, you will be able to find holes if you can break that first wall that the team is applying. We can see here in this case, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4 Brisbane players who had committed to applying frontal pressure. And in this case, Nick Daicos had the vision and the speed in decision making to find this pass over the top to Braden Maynard, and Collingwood are out. So it's very marginal Collingwood's game, and this is the difference between making it through the corridor or not. It's will that hand pass hit or not? Because if this hand pass doesn't hit, then these Brisbane players will pick up that ground ball and surge back the other way and burn Collingwood. Instead, Daicos finds that great hand pass, and Braden Maynard is off, just knocks it forward, keeps the ball rolling. Noble was great all game, and great body work by Bobby. Maybe a free kick, maybe not. Again, Noble just delaying that hand pass, feigns it, feeds the hand pass into Daicos, who you want with the ball in his hands. And Reef does enough to create chaos and snaps that. Transition footy. Darcy splits the two there. Hand passes, great quick hands there by Finn. Don't underestimate how important that hand pass is. He had less than half a second to get that handball off. And not only did he get it off, he got it into the advantage of Beau McCreary. And now he's out, and he kicks that goal. In a massive moment of the game, after a massive second quarter that Brisbane were just, ferocious and relentless with their forward half pressure. We come out a minute into the third quarter and score a goal like that. That changes how the game looks from that moment moving forward. In these next couple of examples, I just want to show you Jamie Elliott's work around a stoppage. I think was highly underrated in this game, and we really took advantage of his ability to win the ball in a stoppage and basically score as an outcome from this stoppage. We can see here De Goey, and this is Pendles. They're basically going to set like a sliding doors screen on Starcevic, and Lachie Neale even gets caught up in this so Elliott can get a run out here and then hopefully run onto the ball as Darcy taps it into his advantage, hopefully. So we see that. The screen's put on, Starcevic is nowhere near it. Unfortunately, it was quite a high ball up, so maybe that threw off the timing of the play, which is why Elliott doesn't really get much of an effect here. But it still gives him a run at the ball. And then I think here we actually get a repeat stoppage. So the very next play, we got Elliott on Dunkley, turns Dunkley, so now he's on the outside of him and he's on his bike. Dunkley switches off for half a second. He's still back here focusing on the ball, whereas Elliott's just trying to get on his bike and try pick up a loose ball in this case. And that's exactly what happens. Gets that half a metre on Dunkley just by switching off because he was fixated on what was happening on the ball, whereas Elliott was being mindful, where can I impact the play next? So that was the difference in that case. Once again, some really great stoppage work. Elliott getting on his bike. No Brisbane player really impeding or checking his runs. Hugh McCluggage is already chasing his tail. And you'll see in this play, Jamie Elliott follows up really well and gets involved in this scoring play. On his bike, Great hand pass. And then now the Collingwood players swarm to try to win this ground ball. Just hustle plays. Another great feeding out basically the quarterback and Lockie Schultz. Brody Majacek, really good body work, and obviously score from there. So just talking to Jamie Elliott's great stoppage work and follow-up play in that case. Next one here, keep an eye on Jeremy Howe playing on Hipwood here in this play. So they get it out wide, and at this case, Collingwood have guarded the zone really well. I think we've got Noble or McCreary here guarding this one here. The next pass that is really dangerous for Brisbane is this one here, because that will get them out the back, and this player will have time to run on and probably get a really quality inside 50 going forward. Jeremy Howe identifies he's a kick and a half away, which means Hipwood is not going to have an impact on this play. So he has time enough to get over to here just in time to have an impact on this play. And it's a great decision because he knows, like I said, Hipwood is not getting this kick because it's about a kick and a half away from where the ball is here. Howe's on his bike. It's not the best kick, so it gives Howe even more of a sniff on this play, and he intercepts it and does really well. In this play, we're probably seeing something a little bit new from Collingwood. I think this is more of a set play that we'll see from time to time in games because Collingwood are wanting to use the corridor as much as they can, and they don't want to go long down the line, especially when we don't have key tools like McStay in our team at the moment. So, and obviously the most dangerous way to your goals is through the corridor. So they're really trying to exploit as many options as possible. And at this point, we can see obviously how pointing somewhat up here, but I think everybody knows at this point that we're going to have 1 and 2 players here sort of just fade into the corridor, because what happens in this case, they think now Howe's sort of going along down the line, and then these players, that being the Brisbane players, are all going to be keeping their head up and watching the ball here so they can get front and centre. But what the Collingwood players know is this ball is actually going corridor, so they'll peel off in this moment and try to break the lines that way. So here, everyone's peeled off. They're now corridor side, 1, 2, and even here as well, just being an option very late in this kicking motion. And if this kick wasn't off, this was hitting Pendles. This was going to be Pendles' mark, and then he has the luxury of going anywhere in this space, going inside 50, which opens up the whole entire ground. So while the execution was quite off, I really do like this set play where Pendles knows how he's not going along here. His direct opponent, where's his direct opponent gone? He's heading this way. He's now realized that Pendles is actually going inside and Howe is going inside at this point, but it's too late. It's that half a meter. Hipwood was nowhere near it. So while the kick was off, I really love the idea, and I think we'll see that set play a little bit more throughout the year from Collingwood. I just wanted to throw this snippet in of Collingwood's pressure. Tackling, I think we had 81 tackles for the game, which is more than any tackle count that Collingwood's had since 2014. So it just shows that the attack on the ball is still there. The want to win the contest is still there, which is very important to see. And it's just constant pressure. Everybody's trying to put their name on this contest. Zorko ends up shitting himself, and McCreary applies that pressure. Zorko didn't want to pick up that ball. He kicked it off the ground. He didn't want to get he didn't want to get below the knees and pick up that ball, and this is the result. Holding the ball, Isaac Quaynor wins that. I wanted to point out in this moment of the game where Brisbane pretty much owned the territory for the first 4 minutes of this quarter in our back half for Collingwood. And this is pretty much what set the tone for the rest of the quarter. We had an opportunity to get out. Nick Dacos, the ball's in great hands. Good inside kick on his left foot to Hoskin Elliott. Hoskin Elliott looks to miss what seems like an easy pass, and it results in a goal. And from there, we were really not able to get the ball out of our back 50. And I point to moments like that pretty much changed the narrative of that quarter. It could have looked very different. We could have gone out and kicked the goal there and changed how the game looked. Instead, they go back, Lachie Neale takes a mark and kicks the captain's goal. Hey guys, just quickly, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. I'll be posting anything and everything Collingwood, from previews, reviews to match analysis like these games here. And also I do have a second YouTube channel, which is I Just Love Footy, and that's more general AFL content. So still more video analysis on that end as well. So if you're a footy head, maybe consider subscribing to that one as well. Let's get back to the video. Here we're going to look at Collingwood's ability to slow down the game and play some uncontested footy and slowly chip the ball moving forward. So we've got Pendles receives this off my check. Composure as always. Gets it out wide. And then obviously Elliott's first thing and anybody should be doing is looking inside for this pass here, as obviously Collingwood are still setting up their forward structure. So important that we look inside here, and obviously it opens up angles to go wide, back out the same way, or maybe we get something through the middle. So see the game plays out. Tom Mitchell, good option, pushes back, does really well. He does really well to delay this, in the sense that he doesn't just kick it long down the line. He's still trying to delay his kick as long as possible to try to get players like, I think this is Maynard, to come to him to give him another short option, because this long down the line kick, Brisbane is set up quite well for it. So delays it. Braden Maynard slowly making his way, finds that pass. And now Maynard, maybe not the best decision, but it still gets us a decent look going inside 50. Howie, intercept mark, crisp on his bike. You think we're going to go fast here? We just cool our jets for a second. Lipinski here does really well. Again, I talk about delaying the pass, because the longer you delay that pass and that kicking action, you might find somebody making a lead at the last second. And this is what Lipinski did really well here. He's holding. Now he has to go, and he can see this player here making that run inside. And you do have to be a great kick to make this pass, but Lipinski fits that suit, and this is what he does really well. Finds that composure and hits that inside 45 pass and changes the angles. And now we've got, I think, Tom Mitchell here as well as an option. Probably would have loved, I think that's Maynard again, I would have loved him to lower his eyes and get Tom Mitchell on the ball here to get a subsequent deeper inside 50 entry, albeit we get a mark from it, okay? A free kick, I guess. I just wanted to show how quickly a mistake can turn into a goal. I think Reef here tries to take a mark, slips through his hands. So that's one error there. Collingwood apply the pressure. Brisbane, they beat that initial wall. Now they've got time to distribute the ball. And here, I spoke about it last week. How here can see Darcy Moore is going for this. He's got eyes on the footy, and I trust Darcy Moore to make a play on this. Howe needs to stay down. And they both go up. And in the end, that ball goes out the back. And that's a goal that shouldn't be happening. It gives Brisbane a sniff early in the fourth quarter. Howe needs to do better in that case. He was much better this week, but he's made the same mistake 2 games in a row and needs to realise that Darcy Moore is going up there and he needs to stay down. For the most part, it was really good. I don't think Brisbane were able to transition the ball very well. A lot of their dominance came in that second quarter through centre clearance work and repeat inside 50, and that points to how well our defensive zone worked in the game. But we'll pick out a couple moments where we had a couple brain fades, which we'd like to have out of our game. So here we got Bobby Hill on the mark, Mason Cox works over, and we've got Hoskin Elliott sagging off Harris Andrews. And I think we can see Hoskin Elliott's going to try guard this area, but I think Mason Cox has done a good job to bust his guts and get over here. If I'm Hoskin Elliott, you have to be mindful, that's Harris Andrews. So at some point, they're going to go along to him in this play, and it's obviously a mismatch, so that's something they're looking into. Hoskin is just dawdling at this point, and he's in no man's land here, and now there's a 2-on-1. Quaynor's player is going to put a screen on him, and Harris Andrews is going to have an uncontested mark out in the wing. The screen's on, Harris Andrews, free run, Hoskin Elliott's nowhere near it, and those are the mistakes we can't afford later in the season. Okay, off a turnover, this is one of the few times Brisbane moved the ball really well from defensive 50, or almost defensive 50. They just pick apart our zone, maybe a little bit too submissive in this case. And then we got Darcy Moore making a decision to push on to the man here. I don't love that decision because he needs to be worried about being the interceptor in this case. And you'll see Danaher ends up getting a mark off a really nice lead into a space where where Darcy maybe would have occupied had he not stepped up in this case. Like, they've taken a mark, so it's not like he was coming off a received handball, was it received off a kick, so he had a mark, so Darcy wouldn't have been able to press this, and Bobby Hill's here already, and now we see that there. If Darcy Moore is not here, then maybe he should have been worried about this player instead. And Danaher makes a really good blindside lead. We can see Frampton's mindful that Danaher is going to make a lead here. Danaher realises that Frampton's not worrying about the corridor, and there's a lot of space here, and Danaher makes a really good lead for this subsequent mark with Hugh McCluggage going inside 50. I want to show you a really good example of some zone work here for Collingwood. We can see in this case, their outlet pass here is this one here. Dacos is ready for it, and I think McInnes here is looking to put pressure on the ball play here. I think what you can notice here as a defender, I guess a forward half defender in this case being Dacos, is this is not a big kicking wind-up. So he can quickly assume that this isn't going long. This is probably going to be a short kick because of how small the wind-up is from the kick and looking at the eyes of the player. So Dacos is quick to that and privy to this kick here, and does a really good job to put some closing pressure on it. And this resulted in a goal as well. Collingwood ticking a lot of boxes in that game, and we get the win in an interstate backs against the wall game, and I think that will carry a lot of weight moving into the rest of this season. If you want to see what I was pointing to in regards to the same mistake you made last week, then consider watching this video, and we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy. Thanks. Bye.